get up and good morning. Today's podcast is going to be a little different from the daily affirmations. I think I want to start doing daily affirmations like 4 days a week, and then 1 day a week have more like a topic of discussion. So let me know in the comments if that's something you're interested in, and if so, what type of things would you like to hear me discuss? On a side note, before we get started, I just wanted to say that by no means is this podcast perfect. I bought a super cheap microphone. I don't think I like it. I'm not even using it right now. I started this podcast because, one, it was something that I was personally looking for that wasn't out there. And two, I just have some things that I want to share that might help some other people. So if it helps 1-2 people, that's wonderful to me. And so this podcast isn't perfectly scripted. It's not going to flow very well. I just hope you get the general gist of what I'm trying to say. I don't have a ton of time to put into this podcast. I'm doing this for free. This is not my full-time job. I make zero money from doing this. So it's not perfect. It's not going to be. If you're looking for a perfect podcast, this just isn't it. If you're looking for something that's like perfectly recorded without any weird background noises or noises from my mouth as I talk, like that's just not going to be this podcast. So anyways, I just had to say that. And I hope you enjoy this podcast. And if you don't, you could simply just move on and not listen to it instead of leaving rude comments. Okay, that's all. Let's move on. Thanks. But today, I want to talk about vision boards and why you should start one. So this is the first year that I've done a vision board, and oh my gosh, let me tell you, it works. Like, it really works. I look at my board and I cannot believe that some of the stupid little pictures I put on it came true. So first, let's start with what is a vision board. A vision board is a group of images that you put together that represent your ideal life. Usually these are things that you want to achieve. Some people do it electronically. Some people actually print out the images. That's what I did. And ideally, you're putting this board somewhere where you see it every day. I put mine on the wall next to my bed. So every day when I'm waking up and before I go to bed, it's what I see. And my vision board has images, but it also has some quotes that I found to be motivating. So I'm not going to share every single image, but I do want to go through a number of images I put on my board and just explain why I put them up there and if they happened this year or not. So first, I have a lot of images of pregnancy, but more specifically the newborn and baby stage. When I made this board, I was pregnant and having a really hard pregnancy. There were some complications and I felt awful all the time, and I just had a lot of anxiety around the whole thing. So long story short, I'd lay in bed and stare at these beautiful images of a mom who just gave birth and all of those happy newborn moments, and just tell myself this is going to be worth it and I can do it. And I did, and now I have a very healthy baby. One of the images that actually kind of freaks me out is there's this mom and she's standing in a chicken coop and she has a baby on her hip. And she's like looking down and feeding all the chickens around her. But more specifically, this chicken coop it has like a wooden frame and then just clear chicken wire. And the reason this freaks me out is because we redid our chicken coop recently, and I kid you not, we built one just like that. It's a wooden frame, clear chicken wire, so like when you're standing away from it, like it looks more open, like it's not very closed off just because of that big open chicken wire. Yeah, like this image I could put directly in front of our chicken coop and it looks exactly the same, and it just really freaks me out. But one of my favorite moments every day now with my kid is to go out there and look at the chickens, and he loves all the noises they make and just watching them. So that's an example of one image. Another image that I have, or next that I have on my board, is a phrase, and it says, be your own boss. And gosh, I don't even know really what I was thinking when I put this on the board. I think the thought process behind it was that I don't like the corporate world and I wanted to find a way to make money without being on that ladder. And I've said this since my very first 9-to-5 job. Like, I just hated it. It's a waste of time to build someone else's dream, and you're there for the majority of your day and you don't have a lot of time to yourself. And so, yeah, let me tell you, I never in my wildest dreams did I think I was even close to quitting my job, but I did. I quit my job to be a stay-at-home mom, and that was not on my bingo card this year. I mean, clearly it was because I put Be Your Own Boss on this board, but I really didn't think that would happen this year. But my husband and I figured out how to financially make it work, and I worked really hard in my career before I had a kid, but the second I did, my priorities shifted, and I was willing to do anything to be able to stay home with him. And so now I'm my own boss, and I'm still figuring out different ways to bring more income into the household, but it worked out. So yeah, let's see what else is on my board. There's an image of a laptop and a microphone for podcasting, and hi, here we are, we're doing it. What else? Okay, there's a sign that says start here, and then it has like little clippers, and it's really for like one of those like pick your own like flower fields. And so at the beginning of the year, it looks like I had a vision to grow a bunch of flowers and have people come to our farm and pick those. If you don't know, I don't know how much. I don't want to share a lot about my personal life, but this is opening things into my personal life. Anyways, we have a farm. I guess I wanted to grow flowers and have people come and pick the flowers. Well, I didn't do exactly that, but what we did do is we did farm tours this year, and we set up signs and a whole path where people could walk through and pet the animals and feed them and see everything that we're doing on the farm. And we literally had a place where they could start. And so, yeah, that is something that literally I put on my vision board, and we made it happen. It came true. There's also a picture of a bunch of orders. Like if you have a small business and you like have one of those printers and it prints out all those receipts that you then need to like fulfill the order. I have a bunch of those, and this year I did start an Etsy store, and we have a few sales. It's just a handful. Maybe it was like one a month, but it happened. Not as abundantly as the image on my vision board, but we got orders. So I'm counting that as a success. I think it looks like friendship. It's so funny because when I made this board, it seriously feels like a lifetime ago. Like some of these, I'm like, what was I thinking? It looks like friendship was really important to me because I have an image of girls in the living room dancing, and I have an image of like girls enjoying watching the sunset. But that dancing one, that one came true because in the newborn phase was really difficult, especially at night. My kid would just cry and cry and cry, and my friends would come over and we had a dance party. And let me tell you, the way my heart was so full when we were doing that. Like they cared so much about me and my new kid that I just had, and it's just incredible to see that literally came true, laughing, dancing in the living room. Another image I have is these two people are clearly in bed. There's like covers, and then they're both holding a cup of coffee. I do remember one morning my husband woke up really early to go to Home Depot before our kid woke up. And when he got home, we were just waking up, and he had brought me coffee, and I got to have coffee in bed. And that sounds so simple and like so basic. And it's like, okay, like, could I make that happen every morning? Like, technically, yes. But it happened naturally, and I just couldn't believe that that was my life. As silly as that sounds, like those simple moments, it just made me feel so happy. And I turned and looked at my vision board and be like, wow, it's happening right in front of my eyes. Look at that, the picture of having coffee in bed, and here I am doing it. So yeah. Something on my vision board that did not happen, I have two images of people doing pottery, like on the pottery wheel. Yeah, that didn't happen. Didn't even come close to happening. I would still like to try that and do that. It just didn't happen this year. So that's okay, and that's an example of something on my vision board that actually did not happen. And then I just have some quotes that really just kept me like motivated throughout the year that I want to share. So the first one, I am thankful for the life I get to live. I am creating the life of my dreams. I am capable of achieving my goals. I'm stepping into the most successful decade of my life. Act like the person you want to become. So yeah, those quotes were just really great reminders and motivation throughout the entire year to have on my board. So that's an example of what's on my vision board. I actually have a funny story to tell. I was talking to my husband this summer about the board and how I couldn't really believe a lot of the things were coming true. And I said, apparently all you have to do is put a stupid little picture on your wall and it will come true. And my husband proceeds to get up. He grabs a blank piece of paper and draws a giant money sign on it and posts it to the wall next to his side of the bed. I found this hilarious because 1, money is the only thing on his board, and 2, I spend so much time making my board look cute and cutting out all the images and arranging them in the perfect order. And in the most manly, guyish way, he just slaps this money sign on the wall. But on a more serious note, did it work? Yes. I kid you not, a few weeks later, we get the opportunity to buy a very cheap car that we then flipped for a $10K profit. It was the easiest flip we have ever done, and he also got a new job offer. He didn't seek this out. This company came to him, and his salary increased by about 30%. Money is what mattered to him this year, and maybe next year he will add a few more things to his board. Another funny vision board story that happened is I was talking to my husband about quitting my job to become a stay-at-home mom, and I was just like, I just feel like we don't have the income to be comfortable enough to do that. And he's pointed out that on my vision board, I did have a stack of money as an image, but it was in the teeny tiny bottom corner. He was like, well, clearly that's not something you were looking for this year because it's shoved in the corner and it's this tiny photo. And that was something that I wasn't even aware of. I was like, well, I put it on my board. Why is it not? But yeah, it was shoved in the corner. So things that are important to you make obvious on your vision board, I guess. So overall, vision boards are not magic, but I think it's a great way to manifest because you have this list of goals for the year and it's visually shown to you as if it's already happened. And you're looking at it every single day. So I highly, highly recommend spending the time to make a vision board for 2025. It's a great way to lay out all your goals. It helps me put my life in perspective and be grateful for what has gone my way. And it helps me keep me motivated and grateful throughout the entire year. So that's all for today. And as always, say it with me. I'm going to have a good day. Okay, bye.